Good evening, campers, it's me, Kira, and today we are going to talk about No Touching by Ralph, no idea. I picked this book up on a whim because I thought the cover was fish scales. Turns out they're sequins, and I suppose that makes a bit more sense when considering No Touching as the title. However, it could simply be about getting a fishing license. Who knows? Well, I know because I've read the book now. I need to specify something from the off. This is a French novel, meaning that anything related to France or anything that is French, I now need to do in a silly accent. It's apparently the rule that everyone abides by, and who am I to blame? Because this won a prestigious prize. It won the Prix du Premier Roman. Yes, this won the Prix du Premier Roman in 2020. And as we all know, 2020 is the year that Piranesi came out, one of the worst books ever to be published, which never fills me with confidence. Nevertheless, Ruth's novel, we're going to go for Ruth, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Ruth's novel starts off with the main protagonist, Josephine, walking down the street, consuming three things that I absolutely adore: Xanax, propanolol, and erotica. Those things are the only thing that get me out of bed. Now, Josephine teaches philosophy in a French school, just like the author did before they became an author. I am making a huge assumption. It says that the author has a master's in philosophy and used to teach in a school. Well, that's a good enough connection for me, okay? Josephine is fed up by all the rules going on within the school, and a spitball to the eye seems to be the tipping point to all of this. Why is she staying in a job that is not making her happy? Maybe it's all the book exchanges with Martin in his pigeonhole. Josephine actually really likes doing that, and in fact that apparently is one of her key characteristics in life. But things are about to change. One day it is raining. It sounds like every day in Wales, but nevertheless, it is raining one day, and Josephine decides to take a little bit of respite in a strip club. Philosophy teacher Josephine, who has been teaching about freedom and reflection, thinks, you know, maybe I could do this. And very quickly we see Josephine from taking burlesque lessons into becoming a stripper in one of the best strip clubs in the Champs-Élysées. I will be taking no criticism on my French, only compliments. Josephine sees herself being liberated through sex work. She is able to do something that otherwise in her normal life she could not do. But there's a catch. As a school teacher, she's unable to take a second job, and therefore there's going to be some problems in trying to navigate these two worlds. But secondly, when the hell is she going to sleep? She's working all day in the school, and then all night she's opening her legs and touching herself. Yes, that is actually something that she does. In fact, many sentences within No Touching is about Josephine touching. Now, very hard to read a French book without thinking, actually it's very easy if you have no idea who this person is or their work. It's very easy to read a French novel about sex work and not think of Virginie Despentes. Sorry, Virginie Despentes. Virginie Despentes was a sex worker turned author, and in the 80s they wrote the King Kong Theory, which was recently translated into English through Fitzcarraldo Editions. And here, basically, Despentes, I'm really boiling this down. King Kong Theory makes the case that society should not demonize sex work if sex work is to be indulged in. And therefore, what Ruth is also making is that why should she be looked down doing sex work if the men are giving her a lot of money to indulge in it? I suppose this is the philosophy of sex work that Despentes was writing within the 80s, and now Ruth is adding in the 2020s. How can we demonize sex work if the people demonizing are those who engage in it? There will be simultaneous clapping and groaning at this sentiment. Ruth, I will say, I don't know if she glamorizes stripping. There's a lot to talk about here about liberating oneself, loving one's body, and even if you hate it, there will be someone who sees something admirable in your qualities. It is some romanticization of sex work here, to the point where Josephine, who now takes on a nom de plume, disenrobing the mantle of the teacher, Josie becomes Gypsy Rose. I swear there's one more word coming out of my mouth. Gypsy Rose Lee. Rose Lee, who invented the term stripteasing. And Ruth, in order to encompass this in the scenes in the Champs-Élysées strip club, we see Josephine referring to herself in the third person. There is a detachment of what is currently going on. And while the rule is the guests who pay for private dance are not allowed to touch, we see this happening. We see sexual exploitation and sexual assault happen, but it's under the guise of, but the money's pretty good. I mentioned it's not to be like, oh, I can't believe that people in a strip club can't follow the rule. Oh, why can't people just follow the simple sign when they enter the building? Like, I'm not trying to say that. It's just that no touching seems to go, but there's more money in it. No touching, like the best philosophy, it is quite ambiguous and vague. And one of the difficulties within no touching is that it makes its point very early on, and then you're wondering, how on earth have I got 100 pages left to read? Like, it makes its point very early on. And it doesn't really, apart from like a very odd death at the end, it doesn't really seem to suggest what happens to the women who are being exploited for money and for personal gratification, which, and it's up there, I really can't be bothered to get it, which is the opposite of Despenser's Boisez-moi, of which the English translation of that title is akin to a Nirvana song, both of which make me want to Cobain myself. It's my least favourite Nirvana song and my least favourite Despentes. If you are going to read Despentes, you could read the King Kong theme. It's a bit dry and boring at times, but I would recommend Verdun Substitute. It's not really related to any of this, but hey, you know, you might as well get a good book at the end of this video, eh? We digress, but then again, when don't we? Boisez-moi, even though I don't entirely enjoy this novel of Despenser's, it does ask a lot of questions of what happens if you role reverse, if women are to exploit men for their own personal gratification, and pushes it to the nth degree. It asks a lot more interesting questions than No Touching does. However, in Ruth's praises, she can write an enticing story. While I understood exactly what No Touching was doing by the 50th page, I read this with some I read it. I suppose that is ultimately the job of the author, to make the reader want to finish the work that they have created, of which I did. And again, while I kind of knew everything that this was doing, I did finish it and was, like its premise, a little bit ambivalent. For me, No Touching is a 4 out of 10. Go read Despenser's.